Hi there everyone, welcome back to English Hero, and as promised we're going to continue discussing question tags. We are going to continue talking about the rules of question tags, and also I'll teach you the proper intonation on how to use question tags. For the rules, next rule is we need to use did if the statement is past simple form of the verb, or if the statement uses past simple form of the verb. So let's have an example here. Let's read. They went to the cinema. They went to the cinema. So let's try to identify the verb that we're using. So our verb is went, past form of the verb go. Okay. So our subject is plural. So regardless, our subject may be plural or singular, so long as if you're using past simple form of the verb, it should be paired with did, okay, in using question tags. For example, they went to the cinema. What should be our question tag? Did they or didn't they? Didn't they? Very good, because one of the rules, if the statement is positive, we should use negative form of question tag. So we have didn't they? They went to the cinema. Didn't they? Very good. Let's have the second example here. Let's read. She studied in New Zealand. She studied in New Zealand. So our verb is studied, apparently. And what is the present form of studied? Study. Okay, so study is the past simple form of the word study. We have our subject she. So again, regardless if the subject is singular or plural, we should always use did if it's past simple form of the verb. So she studied in New Zealand. What should be our tag question? Anyone? Didn't. Very good. Didn't. Oh, sorry. It should be like this. Didn't they? So always remember, for contraction of did not, it should be did and then letter N and then apostrophe T. Yes. Because sometimes I put it the wrong way, the apostrophe. So sometimes I put it between D and N. So it should be in between N and T. Did N apostrophe T. Okay, that's a contraction of did not. So we have didn't she. What if the statement here connotes negative? Is in negative form. So how will we say that one? She did not study. Okay, she did not study in New Zealand. Did she? Okay. Or they did not go. Okay. Always remember did. It should be, if you use did and then the verb, it should be the main verb. Okay. So for example, she did study in New Zealand. She did not study in New Zealand. Did she? For this one, they did not go to the cinema. Did they? Okay? Always remember that. So again, if the statement is positive, your question tag should be negative. If your statement is in negative form, your question tag should be in the positive form. Take note of that. For negative meaning, now there are actually statements like it's not obvious that it's not obvious that it's negative because it's the word not is not there. For example, this statement here. He hardly speaks Spanish. So hardly here, for parts of speech, this is classified as an adverb. Okay, adverb of manner. So he hardly speaks Spanish. Hardly here connotes what? It expresses negativity, right? So it has a negative meaning on it. So he hardly speaks Spanish. So if we're going to interpret it in a way that we can understand it, like that person, or he is not good at speaking Spanish, right? So that's why we use hardly. He hardly speaks Spanish. So for negative meaning, our question tag should be in a positive question form. So what should be our tag question here? He hardly speaks Spanish. Does he? Okay, very good. So why do we use does? Because our subject is singular. Okay, so if our subject is singular, our verb should be in the singular form. Okay, so we have does here. And it's in positive question. Does he? Let's have another example. They never listen to their teacher. Okay, what do you think? Does it connote positive meaning or negative? Negative meaning, okay? So they never. Okay, close to not doing it at all, okay? They never listen. Never listen to their teacher. Do, again, positive. Do they? Now, why do we use do? Because our subject is plural, they, which is a pronoun, plural form, okay? Now, let's go now to the exceptions of the rules. Now, for tag questions, if the statement starts with I am, your tag question should be aren't I, okay? Not am I. For example, I am hungry. Aren't I? So you didn't say, I am hungry, am I not? Okay, so you say, aren't I? For direct imperative, for example, you close the door. Or close the door. That's a direct imperative. You're talking directly to that person. That's what you call direct imperative. You're talking directly to that person. So you say, close the door, for example. To close the door, you use will you. Okay? Will you. And shut up. Will you? So that's a direct imperative. By the way, won't here, negative form of tag question is not applicable for direct imperative. It should always be in positive form, by the way. Okay? So, shut up, will you? Keep quiet, will you? Alright? Get me some food, will you? So always use will. For let's, contraction form of let us. So let us go to the park. So you use always shall. We. Okay, shall plus the pronoun we, because we use us here. So let's go to the mall. Shall we? You're inviting. Okay. For possession, like have got or has got. Now, have got and has got similar use. This is similar to has and have. Okay, for example, I have got a dog. I have got a pet cat. So that also means I have a pet cat rather. Okay, so I've got or I have got a pet cat. So cat rather. So our tag question should be has or have. Okay, I have got a pet cat, haven't I? Okay. By the way, for this one, it depends if your statement again is in positive. It should be paired with a negative question tag. Okay. For example, she has got a brand new iPhone 10. What should be our tag question? Okay, let me write it down for you. She has got. Okay, we use has got here because our subject is in singular form, which is she has got a brand new iPhone 10. What should be our tag question based on the exceptions of the rule? So we have to use hasn't, because it's in positive statement. Hasn't she? Okay. So you don't say has got not she. Alright. So instead of using has got for question tag, we use has only. Okay, we have has got. So we use has. Alright. So for example, again, if we use plural form subject, they have got a new house and lot. Okay. What should be our tag question? Haven't they? Okay, good job. Alright, so let's move on with another exception is if you use there is or there are. So you use is or are plus there. Okay? Or if it's in negative form. Okay. There is or are. For example, there is a mall there is a big mall in somewhere downtown. Okay, so there's a big mall somewhere downtown. So our tag question should be isn't there. Okay. Now if the statement is negative, there isn't a mall somewhere in downtown. Is there. Okay. So again, if it's positive, okay, there should be not here. Is not or isn't aren't. There are a lot of people during the concert. Aren't there. Okay, so always remember if we use there is or there are, our tag question should be in negative form. Is not, is there, isn't there, or aren't there. If the statement is in negative form, for example, there aren't many students enrolled in that school. Are there? Okay. Let's have another last exception is when we use demonstrative pronouns like this is or that is, and then these are plus those are. So you say, for example, this is my pen. Isn't. Our tag question should be isn't it? Okay? You don't say this is my pen. Isn't this? That's wrong. Okay? Let me write it down for you. So for demonstrative pronouns, this is, let's use that. Okay, that is her bag. Our tag question should be, since we use positive statement, we should use negative question tag. That is her bag. Isn't it? Okay. So regardless if we use that, this, we have to use it. You don't say, that is her bag. Isn't that? So instead of isn't that, it should be isn't it? Okay. If we use plural demonstrative, we have these and those. For example, these are the pens I bought yesterday. So these are the pens I bought yesterday. Our tag question should be aren't. Now since we use plural, we don't use it anymore. Instead we use they. Okay, so we use aren't they? You don't say aren't these, aren't they. Okay? Positive, negative tag question. Okay? That's it. Now for the intonation, actually there are two, how can I say, two classifications of intonation, or two types of intonation for tag questions. If you are sure that that statement or that sentence is true, okay, for example, you are hungry, and you know that you're talking to the people who are hungry, because it shows maybe on their faces. So you would say, you are hungry. You are all hungry. Okay, aren't you? Now, if you are sure of the sentence or the statement, the tone of your voice should, be falling, not rising. Okay, falling intonation. For example, you are all hungry, aren't you? Aren't you? Okay? So if you are sure, always remember just falling intonation. In addition, if you are sure but you just want to, you just want a response from them, so you have to you have to use the falling intonation. But if you are not sure, you just want to confirm, you want to clarify, because you are not sure, you use the rising intonation. Okay? For example, you don't know, you're not aware that they're hungry, or they got bored already. So you would say you're all bored, aren't you? So you use a rising intonation because you don't know that they are bored. You just want to confirm, you just want to clarify. That's statement that they are bored. Okay? So that two intonations, we have the falling intonation and the rising intonation. Again, for falling intonation, if you are not sure, you just want to confirm or clarify, you use the rising intonation rather. For falling intonation, you are sure and you just want a response from them, you use the falling intonation. Okay? That's it. And before we end this video, always remember for tag questions, as you noticed, there's just what we call comma before the tag question. Okay, so they went to the cinema, comma, didn't they? So in every after statement rather, there should be a comma before the tag question. Okay? Have a nice day, everyone. I hope you've learned something new from this video lesson, and I'll see you next time in my next video. Bye-bye.